Hi, I'm Greg Black, the CEO of education.au Limited. Today I want to talk about emerging technologies and their potential use in learning and teaching. Over the past 5 years there's been an international collaboration between the New Media Consortium and EDUCAUSE that's produced a report called the Horizon Report, which is a qualitative research document that makes an assessment about emerging technologies, their possible applications into education and when that might occur. Today I want to talk about the 2008 Horizon Report and 4 of the key emerging trends that are stated there. The access to this is through www.nmc.org/horizon. The first area of emerging technologies is what is being now called grassroots video. If you think about it, even a few years ago, video was something that you paid for, was developed by professionals, tended to be lengthy, and was either sort of a mix of video, entertainment, edutainment, or just plain music. But the technology's moved on quite dramatically, and today, for very little or really it's almost free in most instances, individuals without any background can produce quite good quality video that is immediately uploadable to the web and so accessible by many people. It's become so popular that there are literally hundreds of millions of video clips produced every year with billions and billions of downloads. In terms of education, I think the potential for this is enormous. What we're finding is that what's being produced by educators and students are small, short and specific video that covers a wide range of areas, from students' work on projects through to teachers' discussion about their pedagogy. We think there's great potential for this specifically in an Australian context, and we're seeing, particularly in universities and the training sector, a very significant take-up. Perhaps a bit less so in schools, but it's starting to occur. In 2008, education.au Limited will be working with the education sectors to find some ways of providing support to teachers to help them use video in the most creative and positive ways. The second area is in collaborative webs. This has got 2 components to it. One is purely and simply about tools that educators can now use, tools that allow people to establish a project, write a budget, create a story even. Simple things that are in text, in graphical presentation and so on. The second and related area, which I think is the most exciting, is in group discussion, the group development of knowledge. And here in Australia we've seen some fantastic growth. At the national level, at education.au through Edna Groups, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of teachers who've been utilising this simple technology to collaborate about areas of their interest. We now have over 1,400 groups and something like 25,000 teachers who are regularly and actively collaborating and developing their interests, be it at a local geographic level right through to national collaborations on significant issues. And we can only see, I think, in the future, this area continuing to grow and develop. At education.au in 2008, we're going to take this one step further by launching a new service which is effectively a professional Facebook, so that teachers are able to, in a professional context, share information, establish networks of friends and colleagues, and develop areas of specific interest to them. The third emerging technology is mobiles using broadband. And if you think about it, there's over 1 billion new mobile devices produced and sold every year. And in that kind of rich and deep market environment, it's inevitable that there's going to be a dramatic and rapid level of innovation, and we're seeing it. I know myself, having just bought a new PDA, that being able to use a mobile device to access your email certainly has its advantages and perhaps disadvantages. What we're seeing though in education is a fairly rapid uptake in the use of mobile devices, particularly in the vet sector, where there are significant applications. One example is that there are many organisations that have a wide geographic spread, say across the whole of Australia, that provide either services or technical support, and they're using mobile devices to provide field staff with that kind of technical support, training, manuals, good access to sort of immediate communications. More and more so, we're also seeing the use of mobile devices in schools and universities. A good example for me in schools has been the use of mobiles as data recorders for field work and field trips, so that students can generate the information, bring it back into the classroom, upload it, and then use it, edit it, and put it together with other information to create a report. So it's still probably early days with the use of mobiles, and there's certainly a number of technical issues for institutions to deal with, but nevertheless a great deal of potential. Finally, the fourth emerging technology is what's loosely called mashups. And what this means is that there's technology now freely available to access and integrate disparate sets of data and information. In an education setting, for me, the most important applications to date have been around putting together a major data collection and then searching for a particular characteristic, particularly geography. To give you an example of this, if a teacher had decided on a project for students to study, say, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, what we can now do with advanced search and mashups is search for data on the web on Sydney Harbour Bridge, provide a locational map for it, and also even establish a search through time sequencing, so that there can be data immediately accessed and available about the building of the bridge, its opening, and what's its current usage today. I believe that, as in the commercial world, the potential applications of mashups in learning and teaching are as broad and deep and only really limited by people's creativity and interest. During the course of 2008, education.au Limited will be working with the Horizon Consortium to make sure that in future that important document has an Australian context to it, and also some really good and powerful Australian examples of work in these areas of emerging technologies. Thank you.